There's a ton of everyone. That was my pitch.
We are living in a world on fire, full of sickness, disease, and fear. The world has made profit more important than the health of people.
Thankfully, we still have a way back to a healthy spirit, mind, and body.
The purpose of this Nature Makes the Rules podcast is to let people of all ages know that they can still have a strong and healthy life, no matter what the rest of the world is saying or doing.
We invite you to join us, Dr. Joe and Ilene, for the Nature Makes the Rules podcast.
Welcome back to the Spine Geek podcast, where nature makes the rules. My name is Jeff, your host, and I'm with Dr. Joe and Ilene Arve, as always, and we're in the second of a two-part little series here on the vagus nerve. And guys, you did a masterful job last time talking about what that is, what it does. Today, we're going to talk about how you can kind of like nurture and take care of that. But before we get started today, a question that came up for me last time as a parent and frankly, as just as a citizen, as an observer of the world, you talked about how the vagus nerve is connected in so many different ways to some of the things that we see our kids today being affected by. I don't mean my kids per se. I'm talking about just the kids of the world. Depression, anxiety, heart problems were one of them. But I want to focus in on the depression and anxiety piece because an oft-repeated statistic, and I'm sure that this number has risen because I believe that these numbers came pre-COVID, is that about 1 in 4 people are on antidepressants. And so, I reflect on back in my own childhood, and I understand that, we probably were far less pharmaceutically minded and didn't diagnose these things. And so maybe there's, part of the reason that we didn't see so many kids, when I was growing up. In fact, I didn't know any kids that were depressed. I didn't know any kids that had anxiety or whatever. If you had, anxiety, it was like, go for a run around the block. That was the end of the story. I don't want to minimize that. We are seeing this uptick now. And so because that stat is there, I know a lot of factors can be attributed to this, but why don't you speak specifically to the vagus nerve and its connection to this particular issue with our children today? What are your thoughts on that, guys, as we get started?
So we talked about how we put on the armor of God. We put on a shield that every day we live in a way that helps our vagus nerve be strong and healthy. And again, just if you missed the last show, your vagus nerve is what's in charge of your emotional health, your biological health, and your behavior health. That it's tied, the full armor of God is there for a reason, to protect your mind, but to stand in truth, the breastplate of righteousness, the shoes of peace, the belt of truth, the sword of the Spirit, the shield of faith, the helmet of salvation. Again, so you are constantly going out each day knowing that there's a battle, okay? And so 5 years ago, the battle wasn't as hot or as intensive as it is now. And so as a child, if you weren't physically consciously aware of the battle and you were going into battle, the battle wasn't as strong. Food was still food. You weren't getting tons of vaccines. You weren't on the computer all day long. You were out playing, riding your bike, and the streetlights came on. And so life wasn't as toxic or as fearful or as intentional to cause you harm. Now, over the last 5 years, though, whether they put masks on the kids, they separated them, the social anxiety went up, there was a direct attack on children.
I think there was also a lot of promotion on just ask your doctor. So you weren't relying on what your mom said anymore or your grandma, when you say, like, oh, Johnny's doing this or Susie's doing that. You relied on what your parents had to say, where nowadays it's like, no, ask your doctor. Ask your doctor for pills. Don't ever go off them without asking your doctor. And it's like all this action, and I see that because I'm with a group of ladies, and everything the doctor says, they treat it like a godlike a command.
Yeah,
and so they do all these things to their little children, and I try to speak life into that, and it falls on deaf ears because they want to go to see what the doctor says.
Right.
And it breaks my heart.
And 5 or 10 years ago, you'd go to school and they wouldn't make you wear masks. They wouldn't make you separate. They wouldn't make you afraid of viruses and germs. They wouldn't make you question whether you were a boy or a girl. They didn't make you question if there was a God or not. Again, the attack over the last few years has been intentional to cause chaos in children.
We used to share suckers and stuff like that, or gum. You're here, you want some gum? You tear a piece off and give it to your friend.
Yeah. And so you're asking why are the medication rates in chronically ill children going up? Why is depression going up? Why are these school shootings, mass shootings going up? It's because the attack is stronger. Our children have less defense mechanisms. And when they want help, they're running to the shield of medications, shots, and surgery. And the problem is it makes your defense mechanisms weaker, not stronger.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so if you listen to any of these podcasts, you understand that the brain is now under attack, that how this body is made, how this child's made is under attack. This child becoming and living in in the image of God is under attack. And if they can get the mind to become emotionally fragile, then they know the biology becomes fragile and the behavior becomes controllable. So again, taking 20 minutes to answer your 1 minute question, but it's like, imagine that you're going to go play football in the NFL, but yet they don't give you any football pads for protection. But they've told you, oh no, you just go and do the best you can and listen to how we tell you to play and you'll be fine. And you get smoked, you get killed. Well, that's what children are facing today, is that they're relying on the medical model and to somehow raise up strong children, but yet they're getting questioned every time they turn around. And again, that's the purpose of this podcast, is to remind people that you're fearfully and wonderfully made.
Yes.
That you're uniquely made different, and that there's tools, but you got to use them. You just can't cover them up. There's tools that you use every day to strengthen your child, to strengthen yourself as mommy and daddies, to strengthen your family, to go out there into the battle. The battle's real. We don't live on a playground. We live on a battleground, okay?
Right. And the practical ways you can strengthen your own vagus nerve.
Yes.
For you and your kids.
Because the vagus nerve in your child is under attack. That's the one area that is stressed out and it's under attack, and they call it vagal nerve disturbance. Your vagus nerve is in charge of your total well-being about you, being in a good mood, being able to go out and play, being a kind, loving person to be around, just being a joy to be around. That's the job of your vagus nerve. Yes. How you look at yourself, how you talk to yourself, how you feel about yourself, how you feel about others in a way that's peace, calming, and is resilient. That's the key word, resilience. That our children have lost grit. They've lost resilience. Now they just get ribbons. Now it doesn't matter if their socks match or not. But the thing is that we want to use tools now to build back up this child's vagus nerve, build up their brain and their body. And the step one is what are they thinking? We've got to get them to meditate, and not meditate in a Eastern way, but meditate on God's word. To literally every day sing worship songs so that their thoughts are in alignment with what God thinks about them.
Right, who you are in Christ, think, as opposed to what the world says about you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. We've got children now that are 34, 30, 29, 22. This stuff never changes because the attack never changes. Mm-hmm. We're always having discussions in our family about, okay, remember who you are. What does God say about this? We're always sharing scriptures. It's not like, oh, I told him once. Okay, no. As parents, we still have a role to live it out ourselves, but to remind them.
They're always your kids.
Yep.
Doesn't go away.
And so number one to put in your toolbox is that your thought life matters. What are you meditating on? And meditation, just think about this. You all know how to meditate if you know how to worry. Worry is just negative meditation. Mm-hmm. So we want you to worry about good things like, oh, I'm going to make more money, or I'm going to have more fun, or this, what can I do? What does God say about me? And get excited about what God says.
Yeah, I think that when you're meditating, because you're doing it no matter what anyways, you're saying, so don't say, oh, you're ugly in the mirror or whatever. Just say, you know what, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Even if you don't like your hairdo today, you're just like, nope, God loves me. I just got to walk in that. And to not go into all the little nitpicky things that the devil wants to say. Oh, look,
Yeah. Write on your child's mirror.
Yeah.
Write on your mirror. We do that when we go visit our kids now. I write on their mirror. You are loved. And just as a reminder of who they are. And
but there's also something we just were dealing with. It's like, what is the mantra that's going on in your head? like it, because you're meditating. If your mantra is, man, I'm just so fat, or I'm just so lazy, or
my parents hate me, or I hate, I hate my parents.
Or no one's ever going to love me, or whatever. That's meditation. So you got to stop doing that. You can say, you know what? God's got my timing. He's got my Prince Charming or my Princess Charming. Someday, it's going to happen, but it's going to happen in God's timing. So that you're changing what you're saying, because we're saying something in there anyways.
You got everything in your life starts with a thought.
Mm-hmm.
Everything starts with a thought. And that's why the Bible says, take every thought captive, because everything starts with a thought.
There's a good Joel Osteen episode talking about that too.
Yeah. Yep. There's a couple of them, but yep, you're right. So number one, taking back control of your vagus nerve and your vagus nerve dysfunction that maybe you're seeing in yourself or your child, or to prevent it from overtaking you, is your thought life. You got to think about what you're thinking about. That's what Joyce Meyer says. And ask yourself, okay, what am I thinking right now? I do that to my kids right now.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be driving a car. What are you thinking about? Like, when they're like me, like, nothing. I go, oh, nothing's not an appropriate answer. Sorry, you're thinking about something. And then whatever they're thinking about, just listen. So, that's interesting. Where's that going with that? And what did you think of that? And what did you do with that? And again, and what did God have to say about that? Okay, so number 2 now is posture. Now, Dr. Joe, you're a chiropractor, so you have to talk about the spine. No. Your brain and spinal cord, your vagus nerve is like a string on a guitar, okay? And if it's in tune, then again, the song that you're saying, the mantra you're saying over and over again is going to be in alignment and be correct. But if your posture suffers, text neck, just bad posture, and your head's going forward and you're slouching, that has a negative effect on the nerves or the guitar strings. They're not in perfect tone. They become weak and slack, or too tight and uptight, hyperactivity or hypoactivity. You feel lazy, you want to sleep, or you're like over it. You can't shut down, you can't shut off. That's a direct connect to the posture. And so we have exercises that we give our patients that to help keep that nerve system strong, keep that posture strong.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's number 2 as far as helping your vagus nerve become strong and healthy again, so that you have better emotions, better biology function, better behavior. Number 1 was your thoughts. Number 2 is posture.
Well, another thing that we kind of did is that take a little video of me. I'm just going to walk over here and take a video of me, so you can actually see what it looks like when you're walking. And then you go, we had a Christmas picture years ago, and my son was in this phase of, all hunched over and, thinking he's looked cool. And then he looks at it and he goes, I just look like I'm all hunched. And it's like, yes, you are. Because you think this is a cool posture, but it's really not. So sometimes you need to see a visual picture of yourself sitting or doing something, and then you just go, whoa, I don't like that. I'm going to change it.
And parents, use that as a clue into what song is playing in your child's head, because again, your vagus nerve is an involuntary, means they don't know, again, your heart's beating, your lungs are breathing. They're not thinking about it. So if their posture, you can look at your child's posture and tell whether they're having a good day or bad day. You can look at your child's posture and tell whether they are in vagus stress or not in vagus stress. Your posture tells you everything. And so by helping them, and again, tell them, why don't you sit up? That's not the way to do it.
Or smack them in the back of the head. No, don't do that either.
It's putting on a good movie. It's putting on fun music. It's getting them, which one I want to get into number 3 is play. They have to go play. They have to learn how to, get things going, get things moving, and go outside and play.
When we were little, my mom used to have us put a book on our head and try to walk around. I mean, it was a while ago. You do see that little glimpse, and sometimes in some movies or whatever, they'll bring that back up. But I mean, it could be like, hey, I got a challenge for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And again,
it's just a fun way.
3 or 4 generations ago, we did all kinds of weird stuff when it came to posture, right?
Right.
And we may not have understood what it did for us, but we didn't have all those problems back then, like you said. I remember when we were speaking, I spoke a few weeks ago at an event, and then RFK spoke after me. But he talked about in the 60s, their family invented the Special Olympics. And all this stuff we see today with chronic illness in children, emotionally and things like that, they weren't around.
They didn't have that.
They didn't, and none of that stuff existed.
Nope.
And so walking around with the book on your head and see if you can balance it, that's a fun game. But posture matters. We have wobble exercises. If you go to your child's school, you might see flexible seating. I can't say that fast. Where the seats move, they can move. Why? Because that enhances posture. Posture enhances brain function, and they get better grades because they're able to move while they're studying and learning. And the other thing is breathing. There's a technique called box breathing where you breathe in, hold it for 5 seconds, take 5 seconds to blow it back out, hold it out for 5 seconds. But you do this a few times, again, because when you're controlling your breathing, you're flipping that switch from stress, fight, flight, the bear's chasing me, and you're switching it over to now, no, peace, calm, healing, and it has a direct positive effect on your vagus nerve system.
Yeah. I think sometimes you have to, it's like be aware. Be aware. We just kind of like live life, and then but somebody brings something up, you're like, oh, I think I'll watch my kid and watch how they breathe.
Yes.
What are they doing? Are they? And then you're like, oh, they are breathing really, really fast. So then you're more aware and you can handle it.
And just help them through deep breaths, through flexible seating, through the wobble. Again, because posture matters. It gives your brain a boost when your posture is good.
Yeah.
Number 3, exercise.
Oh yeah.
Again, go out and play, ride your bike, do burpees, do push-ups, have gym class. Again, getting rid of gym class, getting rid of recess has a direct effect on the mental health of our children.
Yeah.
Has a direct effect on the vagus nerve system of the children. Has a direct effect on grades. You have to move so that your cognitive function, your brain function is better. And so literally exercise, getting outside and playing, joining sports, right, can have a positive effect on the vagus nerve, and it re-energizes the brain to bring healing.
Yeah. When the kids got too, I don't know, silly, or they started picking on each other too much, it was like, okay, run to the stop sign and back, or get a scooter out and scooter around the cul-de-sac. It was totally that. And they sit and they laugh about it now, and they're like, you remember how many times we had to go run to the stop sign and back?
Yeah.
But they came back with a refreshed attitude.
Yep.
I mean, you can just watch it. Try that experiment because it happens. They are refreshed.
The solution is not more time on the couch, sitting in the basement, sitting in the room with the door closed, playing video games, playing on the internet. I mean, there's time for that, but it's not to consume them, not at the expense of their health, not at the expense of this vagus nerve system we're talking about. It's to get them up and get them moving. And here's the hard part, parents. You may have to join them. You may have to go with them and run around the block with them or get on the bike with them and be active with them. Be an active parent in this situation and spend time with them. The next thing is give hugs. Again, we live in a world now where, we have to be appropriate and it has to be the proper timing, but hugs matter. I make sure, even with my adult kids, even with my wife, that they do not feel starved of hugs from me. And, especially my girls, they need hugs. My boys, they need hugs even more, especially from their mothers. Yeah. But, and then my patients, they get hugs. My team gets hugs. And again, you have to know it. It's appropriate hugs. It's appropriately timed. It's not like we're forcing ourselves on them.
It's different. It's different because we were to a phase there for a year or so that was like, oh, all you had to do is elbow high fives. Excuse me. That is so impersonal.
Yeah.
It's like people need community.
Yeah.
We need to be hugged. We need to be, shoulder to shoulder. There's a lot of that just
we need physical touch.
It feeds our soul. We're made this way.
Physical touch is important. And so can a child's vagus nerve system be stressed out because they're just not getting enough hugs? Yep. Can it be from they're not getting enough physical touch? Yep. And again, where are they going to get that from? In a safe and effective way? From parents, from friends, from brothers and sisters,
relatives, grandmas.
Yeah, especially grandma and grandpa hugs, right?
Sure.
And again, we realize the world we live in is sometimes getting darker, not lighter. So, but you hear what we're saying on this physical touch thing,
right? Because I mean, what they do now is called pet therapy. Is because that not enough people will hug them and all that, so they'll have a pet that will come to some places like the homes and stuff like that, where they'll hug them and let them pet their dogs.
Yeah, pet therapy
is a thing.
Yeah, and so it's there. So exercise, hugs, and again, music. Sorry, Doug, I can't read my own notes here. Worship. Man, I'm telling you, worship is basically taking your thoughts and then just expressing them. expressing them. We had a silly song in our whenever we got in the house, you want to sing it, Eileen?
No.
Okay, good. But we would basically say, because my wife's name's Eileen. So we'd say, Eileen, 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 Eileen on the Lord's side. And we'd go around and make each kid sing their name. And sometimes we'd sing it in opera. Sometimes we'd sing it whatever. But I did it on purpose because of why? I wanted them to speak who they are, that they're loved, who God says they are, and to get it going. And they liked it. And even if they didn't like it, too bad, I made them sing it. And so worship, when you're singing songs of praise, the words have a healing effect on your vagus nerve. The words, again, life and death is in the power of the tongue. So words can build up or words can tear down. I'm a firm believer that music and the lyrics can build up and music and the lyrics can tear down. And so what is your child listening to? Okay. Well, and again, I listen to rock and roll and things like that and stuff too. But again, I also listen to praiseworthy music just enough. More than that, I make sure I'm singing it and I'm praising it because you're speaking God's words over you. You are who he says you are. You can do what he says you can do. And again, you need to get your child to reinforcing so that they hear their own voice saying those things about themselves, not just you, not just maybe the pastor, but their own words saying that.
Right. And then the vagus nerve, it goes through your vocal cords and your throat and your inner ear. So singing stimulates, like physically stimulates your vagus nerve. So singing is very good for you, singing opera, so that you're opening up your throat because you don't use it, you lose it. There's some muscles that you just lose them if you're not going to use them. And so, you should occasionally break out into some opera in your car or in the shower.
Just let it go. Even if it's for fun, if it makes you laugh.
Right.
One of the things I think we're going to get during the holidays is a karaoke machine for the Arve house because not all of us are great singers, but Mrs. Arve.
It should be pretty funny.
And Miss May and everybody can sing, likes to sing, or they think they can sing.
Or we think.
But why? To build laughs and to have fun and to be
laughter
working on our vagus nerve system to keep ourselves strong. Because again, like you said, the vibration and the frequencies matter.
Yeah.
Again,
which is also in laughter too.
And laughter.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, just to recap before we wrap this thing up, your thoughts matter. They have a positive or a negative effect on your vagus nerve system. And again, your vagus nerve system is what allows your body to have harmony, have peace, have joy, to be resilient in this world we find ourselves in. Number 2 is that your posture matters. So sit up, stand tall, we'll put a book on your head, walk around, come to our office and we'll take a look at your posture or find, let us know and we'll help you find a chiropractor in your area that can take good care of you.
Wear glasses if you need them.
Yeah, wear glasses.
that helps your posture.
Quit moving your head forward, make your arm tired back and forth. But posture matters. Then number 3, get out and play. Go to the gym, have fun, do stuff. Start a martial arts. Just get moving. Get off the couch. Get away from that screen time, TV time. There's time for that. But there's also time to go out and play. Number 4, give hugs. Physical touch has a positive effect on the brain. And then number 5, worship. Sing. Sing words of song and praise. Sing songs that are fun. Just learn how to have a good time with music.
Mm-hmm. Because they're saying that the benefits of a happy vagus nerve is it helps your children lower the inflammation, helps manage seizures, helps keep them from depression, and it balances their emotions, the blood pressure, and it keeps them from headaches. It's just like this, like it's like a magic pill, but it's not a pill. It's what's inside you because God made you fearfully and wonderfully.
Right. And what we're asking as parents, and again, if you need help, we have resources, on our website and such. But again, every day you want to make sure you have a checklist that you're using to help your children develop a lifestyle 24/7, 365 to where it incorporates, our thoughts, our posture, our play, hugs, worship, the food we eat.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
The toxins we don't allow in our body or in our mind, in our eyes, in our ears, or toxic people, that we begin to develop this lifestyle that is pro-brain, that's pro-vagus nerve system, because that's what defeats depression. safe and naturally. That's what defeats irregular or uncontrollable emotions. That's what defeats high blood pressure. That's what defeats pain like fibromyalgia, headaches, hormone issues.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say that if you don't know what toxins are or you have some questions about that, text us at 303-457-8080 because some people really don't know what is healthy and what is not healthy.
Right.
And we can point you to some sources, or you can make an appointment and we can talk with you about it. But
yeah. So again, hopefully we've given you new tools now to combat what we call vagus nerve dysfunction. That we've unlocked the secrets to what this vagus nerve is really all about in you or your child. Again, it's all about the environment. It's what are you allowing in your child's environment that is stressing them out, that's giving them fear, that's causing them emotionally be unstable, to biologically their health, their skin, their health, their lungs, their body's just not working the way it's supposed to, and then their behavior is inconsistent. It's erratical, and you're pulling your hair out because you want to help your child so much, but you don't even know where to start because you've tried the medical route, you've tried different things.
Right.
Maybe you've tried it's just too hard. It's overwhelming. We get it. It's just there's simple steps, and the first thing, it starts with prayer. Just asking God to help you. Just reading scriptures out loud to your children, reading them Bible stories, pointing them to truth. And as they find calm and find peacefulness in themselves, then that begins to flip the switch on their brain. They become resilient. They start making better choices because their brain now is able to listen and to focus and to be in control of the situation. So if you're loving what we're saying, we ask that you would like the podcast, you would share it with your friends, you subscribe to it. If you want to connect to us, we would love to connect with you. You can text us at 303-457-8080. That's our office number. You can go to our website, spinegeek.com. You can come by for a visit. You can get hooked up if you travel here to Denver for a week of spine immersion. But we just want to help you connect back to your children, back to God, and be healthy and strong.
Hey, Doc, quick question for you. Someone's maybe heard this today, and it's not a topic that was brought up maybe in their doctor's offices or things like that. Like so many is the case. Is this one of those things that, from your experience of working with patients, is absolutely off the radar of the medical community? What's your take on that?
Absolutely. Because here's the thing. In the medical model, you have three choices: medication, shots, or surgery. Vagus nerve dysfunction is not a lack of medication problem.
Right.
You're not deficient in bipolar medication. You're not deficient in depression medication. You're deficient in hugs. You're deficient in positive thoughts. Your posture's suffering. You're eating crap for food. You're toxic because you're listening. You know what I'm saying? That the brain is simply responding to the environment which you're putting yourself in. And the reason why the brain is upset and controlling the emotions and the biology and the behaviors, because it's mad. And the medication is not the solution. Getting shots, vaccines, things like that just doesn't fix the problem. It's like putting duct tape on the oil light, and eventually the engine's going to blow up. And that's what we see: school shootings and violent behavior and all this acting out in children that it's just never seen before. And so we're not anti-medicine. If you have an emergency, yes, you need medication. You might need a shot for pain if you're going to get your wisdom teeth pulled, right? You get your wisdom teeth pulled. We're not talking about this.
We're talking about hardcore meds here.
Yeah.
That change your thinking as a little kid.
Yeah. This is a lifestyle problem. This is a child who isn't taught how to put their shield up and be resilient in a world that wants to just continue to beat them down physically, emotionally, mentally. And we want to try to help them fight back, become resilient, become kind to themselves and kind to others. And that's how we start winning back this war.
Good word. Good word. Well, you've heard it from the experts right there, and they pointed you to their properties before and the text number, but also we would direct you to spinegeek.com. Wealth of resources there. And if you would share this episode with someone that needs to hear it, certainly there is someone in your sphere of influence, your family, your friends, where you work, etc., that needs to hear this. And so share it with them. Shoot them a text right now. And we will catch you next time for another episode of Spine Geek, where nature makes the rules. Thanks for listening.